Good morning and good afternoon, everybody, to wherever you are in the world, and welcome to our live webcast, The Future of Wood Recycling. My name is Michelle Wiemer. I am in charge of communications and public relations at TOMRA Recycling Sorting and your host for the day. In the next 45 to 50 minutes, you can look forward to a very exciting lineup. Let me show you what that means. So as you see, we have three speakers. Two of them are our in-house experts, namely Jose Matas and Murat Sandli, who are going to give us an update on the status quo of the market, highlight the importance of a circular economy and how we can get there. And it's even more exciting to have Jan Olaf Wester on board, who is one of our partners at IKEA and who will show us what recycled content means from the manufacturer's point of view and how they can reach their sustainability goals. But before we get started, let me familiarize you with a couple of housekeeping rules. So first of all, you're all muted. We neither hear or see you. We're going to record the session so that in case you can't stay until the end or want to review it again, it will be public online soon. Then you will hear a lot of information that might trigger questions. So we encourage you to ask questions anytime during the event. And to do so, just follow two simple steps. You will find two fields on the right-hand side of the window. Just type in your name there and your email address, and you're ready to go and ask the questions. Last but not least, we aim to improve our webcast experience constantly. So we'd highly appreciate if you could take a couple of seconds, it's really just seconds, after the webcast to fill in the survey that will find its way in your inbox. So that's almost enough from my side. We'll now switch over to the first speaker, and that's Jose Matas. Jose is segment manager for wood at TOMRA and comes with 15 years of experience in the sector and supports us in advancing material circularity and the recycling of waste wood. Jose, the stage is yours.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Matas. I'm Wood Segment Manager at TOMRA, and today we're going to speak about wood recycling. We're going to give a market overview, we're going to highlight the different business opportunities, and we will talk also about circularity. First of all, let's review what were the last couple of years that we've been suffering and that bring us to the current situation. So if we take some pictures, some memories of the last couple of years, of course, we should start with this pandemic situation, the COVID. Not necessary to talk a lot about that because we all have suffered it. But what we will focus is in some of the direct consequences that it had for the industry. First of all, talking about the supply chain, ports were shut down due to the lockdown. Demand has been reduced, so a lot of shipping lines reduce the frequency of the trips, causing a high freight cost increase, creating some difficulties for the supply chain and directly impacting the industry with problems for the supply of materials, shortages, and long delays. All of us have suffered also in our private lives. Different struggles in the supermarkets or in every shop in order to get the materials or even different types of products, food that we need for our everyday life. And after everything seemed to be a little bit more stabilized, then we have the current situation about the Russia and Ukraine war, directly impacting again the wood industry. Russia and Belarus are two of the main wood exporters for the European Union. So now with the sanctions, also this limitation is putting even more pressure in the wood market in Europe. And finally, and in order to create the perfect storm for the segment, we have now the energy situation, putting again more pressure in all the resources, being wood one of the mains for the biomass plants. So what is the impact of all that? As you can imagine, pressure on prices. So directly for the industry, we have shortages of material, lack and difficulties in order to get the materials that the industry needs to get supplied, not only for production, but even the biomass plants, as we said, being wood one of the raw materials that they use. But I'm sure that all of you that has fireplaces at home will have noticed what is the current situation in prices when you go to buy your wood or your pellets for your fireplace. it has almost doubled the price of last year. So it is not only a direct impact in the good for the industry, but also in our private lives. This is this is something that we know that every crisis give us some opportunities. So not everything is bad related to this situation. Here we have a chart where we can see the price tendencies, the evolution, the 1 year evolution from July 21 to July 22. What we see in the different lines is the tendency of the different waste categories. First line is the grade 1, the most requested category for recycling. Here, I will highlight that we had an increase of more than 400% in the cost only in 1 year. But something really interesting to highlight is also the lowest categories, wood, category A2, A3, or even E4, treated wood. These categories normally, historically, had no value, low value, or even pay for disposal because it was treated material. Nowadays, and due to this situation of lack of wood, even these categories has a value. So it brings opportunities. Let's start reviewing the different possibilities that we have. First of all, let's talk about the collectors. As we said before, some materials had no value, so it was not interesting at all to recover it for the mixed waste. Nowadays, with the current situation, with the high value of these resources, all the collectors, C&D, C&I, recycling plants, has the possibility to increase their potential, their revenues, by recovering this material that before it was just a residue. Here on the top, we can see also another possibility. As we seen, there are different prices for the different wood categories. So what does it mean? That it is not only interesting to recover these residues, it is also interesting to short it in the different qualities, because we've seen that if we are able to create single fractions of highest quality, we will be able to increase our revenues. These prices are just a reference prices and is to be used as an orientation. It will differ depending in which country are you located and in which country are you buying your wood from. Now let's see the opportunities also for the industry. In this case, the most important industry for the recycling wood, the wood-based panel industry, because they are the ones that are using most of the material for the recycling, circular economy. First of all, there is a direct impact in price. If you buy fresh wood at a higher price than if you buy recycled wood, waste wood. What does it mean? That it has directly a benefit in cost if you would use one material, the recycled material, instead of the fresh wood. But not only that, also the recycled wood is drier than the fresh wood. What does it mean? That by using recycled wood, you will use less energy, you will need less energy in your process to dry and to prepare the material for production, giving you some extra savings in costs. And finally, there are two main advantages in the recycled wood. As we said, due to the COVID situation, the struggles in the supply chain, it was difficult to import material. Thanks to recycled wood, now we can secure our supply thanks to the local supply of recycled wood. We don't need to depend in overseas countries in order to get our raw material. And last but not least, as my colleagues will explain, there is also now the possibility to recover and recycle the NDF. This will bring us a lot of possibilities. Let's talk now about circularity. On the left, we can see what is the normal loop of the fresh wood. Let's start with the forest. We take the material from the forest to bring it into the production of panels, then furtherly will be used for production of consumer goods, like furniture, for example. Finally, after its lifetime, this material will go to disposal. And here it ends the loop of the fresh wood. On the other side, we have the circle of the recycled wood. Here we see that it is a complete circle. This is what circular economy is all about. Because here the cycle starts when the fresh wood ends in the disposal. As we said, collectors recover this disposal, this waste, these residues, and bring it again into the loop. First of all, we will need to treat these residues to clean it for the impurities. As you know, it were old furniture, so we need to remove all the metallic or plastic pieces that has inside in order to prepare the fractions. After we have the possibility to sort it in the different grade qualities in order to use every type of material for its proper application. And then the loop starts in a similar way to the fresh wood. We have our raw material, but instead of cutting trees, we are recovering from waste, and then again goes to production of panels, production of furniture, consumer goods, and when in a normal loop of fresh wood will end in the disposal, in the recycled wood starts again. And finally, but also something that is really, really important for us is how can the recycled wood support to the environment. So first of all, as we said, we are saving the forest, we are helping because now we don't need to cut anymore the trees in order to get it. I would like to mention that the wood-based panel industry are not cutting or destroying the forest of the Amazon. They have their own plantations of wood that is created in purpose, especially for the production. So, but in any case, the recycled wood is helping to support it. Because if we save the forest, we know that the forest, the trees are always storing the CO2 for the environment, so it's helping. As we highlighted, also, we are helping the industries to reduce their energy consumption. Nowadays, it's really, really a hot topic here in Europe. As my colleagues will explain later, recycled wood, one of its main sources is forestry residues. So in order to recover this material, in order to recover these forestry residues, we will need to clean the forest, to take out all these residues. By cleaning the forest, we are helping also in order to prevent fire hazards. And last but not least, as I highlighted, there is the possibility of getting the local supply of this recycled material. So by this local supply, we are reducing the transportation footprint. We don't need anymore to bring the material from other regions or continents. Now we can get it in our local radio. So as you have seen, the use of recycled wood is a win-win situation for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jose, for describing the challenging market situation. But it's really good to see that it also entails positive developments for the manufacturers and the industry and the environment, I'm sorry. What this means exactly is something that we'll now hear from Jan-Olof Fechter from IKEA. Jan-Olof, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Michelle, and thank you for having me as a guest today, TOMRA. My name is Jan-Olof Fechter. I'm working in IKEA of Sweden, working in the purchasing of wooden material, and I'm the engineer who is responsible for the board material we are buying. That is particleboard and fiberboard. And Jose, thank you very much for your presentation, and I think you were picking up two terms which are quite central for us and which were all the time. We were talking about affordability and sustainability at the same time, and that has been our motto for, well, you can say the recent 20 years, if we say it like this. What does it mean? You can have a look at our sustainability report. This is where I copied this page from, and here you can see the confession that IKEA is committed to transform into a circular business. There are several ways to achieve this, and we do this via at least 4 or 5, but 2 main tracks, I would say. The first one is the circular business models. It has to do with the buying back the furniture, reselling it, refurbishing it. And this is an offer that we have as a standard offer in all the markets. You can, when you don't like your IKEA furniture anymore, you just bring it back to us and you receive an offer. We pay for it, buy it back, and we try to sell it to somebody else if it is in a good shape. Super. Another way of becoming circular is also the leasing out of furniture, which we're doing a lot to business customers. It has a lot to do with the with office furniture that you can lease for a couple of maybe 3 years, exactly as you do with your car, and then pass it back to us, and we maybe can sell it another time. Good. What we're also doing instead of this kind of circularity is recycling of material to make furniture again. And exactly as you described, as Jose, this is done for many, many years in the particleboard industry already. Quite straightforward process. I will get into this in the next picture. At the moment, we are in IKEA at a 25% recycling share of particleboard. And particleboard, that is what I need to say, is our main material. But our goals are more ambitious. The 2030 goal is set to 80% for particle board because we see the advantages that you exactly described, Jose. And even for MDF and HDF, which counted to be as non-recyclable in the past, we have set a goal of 15% because there were some groundbreaking or some technological breakthroughs in the recent years which are making this possible. How does it work, recycling? Or how, but what it makes, the reuse and the recycling of furniture. The reusing of furniture, buying it back, selling it again, leasing it out. Well, last year stood for 155,000 pieces, which we bought back. That's cool. Makes maybe 2,500 tons. And we compare it with the amount of wood that we were recycled wood that we were using to make new furniture again in the last year, which was on the level of 800,000 tons. So you see there is a relation of 1% versus 99%. So reusing is the future, but recycling is what we can do today for the environment. How does it work? Recycling wood into particle board is a pretty easy story today. We have cable drums, we have pallets, they come to the end of life, they give a nice heap of wood, they're crushed and cleaned, they go to a particle board factory, they make new particle board out of it, and we make furniture out of it. Super good. But what happens on the day when our customers bring back the furniture to the recycling station and want to make it, well, get rid of it and dispose of it? Then we're talking about Hemnes, we're talking about Method, we're talking about Plaza, we're talking about the lack table. How do these look on the recycled wood station at the recycling station? Not as clean. And most of it, in all of these furniture, we have fiberboard. We like fiberboard because it has good properties and we need it. But the particle board suppliers, they don't like fiberboard so much in their recycling, in their recycled wood feedstock, because it's clogging the process. So as a consequence, this material, the furniture fraction, often ends up in the combustion nowadays, which is of course not what we want. We want to go for reuse and recycle. Here, another step comes into place, and this is a technological news, this one as well. It's the sorting process. We have heard about this before and seen in the intro movie. And this sorting process is able to sort and separate in between the particle board fraction, solid wood particle board that can be made into particle board again to a very good quality, and the fiberboard fraction, which by novel technologies can be turned into fiberboard again. So we can have it in a fiberboard factory, get a new fiberboard. And these are two high quality projects that we can then combine towards a piece of furniture again. And there we really have a closed circle that makes recycling possible. Good. And the tree, well, not only this one, but many other trees just can remain in the forest and do their job, working towards climate crisis, against climate crisis, of course. Super. Let me conclude. Our goal in IKEA is to become circular. That's very clear. Reuse and refurbish often will be relevant. It is relevant, but we've seen the volumes are quite low. What we also see that recycling is saving resources today, and this is what we can do today, and we will be able to do tomorrow. So I'm very happy about the technological development that we're seeing on the sector. Super.
Thank you very much, Jan-Olaf, for first taking the time and, well, the great presentation. So as you have said, manufacturers and the industry is looking forward to increasing recycled content and improve their sustainability. But as you also mentioned, this requires smart concepts and technologies. And I'm sure that Murat Zanli, our next speaker, is going to tell us how we can leverage existing concepts and technologies to turn waste wood into pure monofractions that in the end help the industry meeting their targets. Murat, I leave it to you.
Hi, wait a moment. So, hi together. My name is Murat Zandi. I'm a sales engineer by TOMRA. And my part today is to show you how the sorting is function or the key facts. At first, thank you very much to Jose and to Jan Olaf about that very interesting presentations. And for the view into the future in wood recycling. Yes, so So, okay, my part is waste wood sorting and our holistic approach about that. At first, I'm going to refer back to the circular economy model for wood that Jose mentioned earlier in the webcast. So, to establish a well-designed system for wood recycling, it is vital to have collection, sorting, cleaning, and sort in wood types. You can see it here in that model. And I would like to go a little bit deeper into that steps, let me say. But of course, it can be only an overview, a teaser for you, because sorting principles systems, it's a huge field here. Whether setting up a nationwide wood recycling system or integrating recycled content into a panel production plant, these steps are really important in designing a process and to maximize our aim to maximize recycled content. Collection, the first. Where's the waste wood coming from? And the second one is the cleaning. For me, cleaning, sorting, it's a little bit the same. It depends on the input stream. We will come later to that. What kind of pretreatment is necessary here? It depends on the input. And the last point here, this is the innovative point, sorting in wood types. What types of waste wood can be used in the desired products? Non-processed wood only, or also, for example, plywood and MDF. These are very interesting questions. I hope I can give you a good introduce to that. We came at first to the collection. I will start with a mixed waste stream. I think here's a big potential because the content of wood in mixed waste streams, at the moment it goes to a power plant. It's burning material. Of course, for our circular model, it's not the best way, let me say, but we can change it. We have the sorting systems available. We can split the streams in two different types of collections. The mixed waste stream, the first, and the second one is wood only streams, mono streams, but this we will come later to that. In mixed waste streams, it can be bulky waste, for example, or construction demolition waste, but also we have a lot of wood in commercial and industrial waste, even in municipal solid waste. And here, of course, when we work with wood recyclers, our aims is first recover and sort out wood from these streams where the content is big enough that it makes sense to sort it out. The second, of course, then when you have a mono stream of wood, you have to clean it for impurities. And then the last step will be to sort in different wood types. Then you can maximize the recycling of recycling. Here, the second stream, mono stream. While mono wood waste streams might sound less complicated, we can directly start with the second step, with the cleaning for impurities. Because it is homogeneous and the material have a high purity at all, but of course, there are the last percentage of impurities what we have to clean. It is still derived from a variety of sources, including post-industrial sites, also bulk waste or public collection points. What we heard also from Jan Olof, furniture store take-back systems, but also sources like from packaging and logistic companies, and also some countries even have separate collection points that vary by wood qualities. We come to the next step. Okay, this slide, this pre-treatment requirements, it's mainly for the mixed waste. So in the mixed waste like C&I or C&D, it is not really homogeneous to sort it in a successful way. For that, we need that requirements like a shredder, shred the material into small pieces. For example, a chair. It's not that easy to sort the chair at all. Of course, when you shred it at first into smaller pieces, it will be easier. Then after that, you have to screen the material because you have to achieve optimal grain size. Not so big grain size range to can sort that material afterwards in an effective way. The metals, of course, we have to separate it. We don't want it into that stream. This you can do with an overwhelmed magnet for the Fe and an eddy current, for example, for non-ferrous metals. And at last, a wind sifter. A wind sifter will separate the material in light and heavy fractions via airstream. This is very common in mixed waste streams. For example, the light material will be films and papers, for example, and the heavy materials where the wood will be in will be separated. This is important because afterwards we will sort the material with sensor-based technology, and here the characteristics of the input stream is very important. We need a homogeneous stream, for example, the falling curve and so on, but we will come later to that. Now we have, let me say, we have a homogeneous input stream. It can be mixed. It can come from the mixed waste as a heavy fraction, but also it can be a mono wood stream. And here we are splitting the sorting systems for cleaning, let me say, in two different groups. The one is the traditional one and the other the modern ones. Over the last 20 years, the wood cleaning have changed a lot. And we have now advanced sorting technologies which are in a new level for the industry, because they have the potential to recover much more material in a more effective way than the traditional methods. The traditional methods, of course, it's, for example, air separator. We know it from the pre-treatment, but here the application it's a little bit more complicated, because in that case wood chips are the light fraction, and the impurities are the heavies, for example, metals. But of course, you have not only wood chips, you have also massive woods, for example. This will be a loss for you. And comparing it to the modern ones about throughput, effectivity, and also about the hit rates, you cannot compare it with the modern ones, where we will come later on. The second one is the swim separators. In that case, wood will be swim and the impurities will be sink. Yes, when I have no other options, we can use it, of course, but here just one example, wood with nails, for example, that material will swim. But for the next steps in production, customers would like to sort it out also. And now we have the answer for that with the modern systems. You can clean the wood material, for example, with the X-ray sorter. This will sort the material with the atomic density. Then wood will be removed, and even the nails, the wood with nails, will be sorted out, for example. And the last one is sensor-based sorting technology. It's you can combine here different technologies, like near-infrared, who is using the spectrometric informations. It's very common for sorting mixed wastes in packaging, for example. But in that case, we would use that for a mixed waste after it's homogeneous to sort wood against non-wood, for example. But also you can combine with an electromagnetic sensor to sort out the last pieces of metals, all metals. And the last one is the deep learning software. This is the extra mile, let me say, and I will come to that on the next slides. So here I would like to show you an overview about the impurities, what we can remove with modern systems, let me say, like wood with nails and staples, but also metals like metals Fe and non-Fe, but also inert materials, glass, ceramic, stones. This all impurities you can really effective sort out from that stream with an X-ray sorter, for example. And for plastics, in that case, you can use again the NER system. Okay, now we come to the innovative point, the deep learning solution, our GAIN system. It's a complementary solution to the NEAR. The real game changer is that. We introduced that in the last years, and it's based on software technology that uses a massive library of images to visually identify and differentiate between wood chips and wood chip types. So as non-processed wood or MDF, particleboards, plywood, and so on. We actually developed this solution in-house. It's not third-party software. Our material experts work together with our software engineers for a couple of months to program and optimize the software to able to deliver outstanding results with the highest purities here. You can also, the one point is you can differentiate between the wood types, but also you can prioritize between material types here. It's very interesting. And on my last slides, I would like to show you an example for an application. These are the pictures here. Thanks to deep learning, we can differentiate between wood A, non-processed wood, and processed wood. But even if you have other requirements, for example, to clean the material from MDF, it is able with a click to change the application to sort out MDF here, or even an individual receptor, what the customer is need. So this is an overview. I hope it will helpful to understand about the state-of-the-art sorting systems for wood. Thanks.
Thank you, Murat. So just a short wrap up of what we've seen here. I'm sorry, I need to go back one slide. Of what we've heard in the last 30 minutes. So we have seen that the market proves to be really dynamic and challenging, but at the same time, it holds a lot of untapped potential. And the good news is that through cross-value chain collaboration, holistic concepts, and appropriate infrastructure, plus advanced technologies, we can leverage these. And I'm sure that both the industry, the economics, and the planet's going to thank us for implementing these approaches. So I already have a lot of questions here on screen, so I'll kindly ask the presenters coming back on stage. Good, they're still smiling. Perfect. First of all, we have someone from Vietnam saying hi. So hi from the team. I can't pronounce your name properly, but we have hundreds of participants here, and it's good to see that we also have some people from overseas. Are you ready for the first question? Yeah, good. It's for you, Jose. Is recycling wood only a temporary trend, or do we see this continuing over the next year and beyond?
It is not definitely a temporary trend, Michelle. The industry started a long time ago to use recycled wood in the production. At TOMRA, for example, we are supporting the wood-based panel industry for more than 10 years. This is not something that is related to the current price situation. Maybe it will have an impact in the wood that is used for biomass production for energy, but definitely for the industry, it is not a trend. As Jan Olof has mentioned, and here, it is not a trend, but it is going to be something that will be increased during the years. So even if the price stabilizes in the future, there will be always a gap between recycled wood and fresh wood. So it will be always interesting in a cost topic, but the circularity is not a topic. This is the future, Michelle.
That's good to know. Speaking of Jan Olaf, I have one for you. First of all, we got compliments, and it's good to see that IKEA has a long-term plan for recycled content. But how does the company encourage waste wood collection throughout the world? Well, you're actually present in a lot of countries. And how do you manage this?
That's a good question. Mainly in the main countries, as we have in Central Europe, we don't need to encourage for recycling of wood. This encouragement is already there. There is recycling schemes in most countries of the EU, which are you as a customer just bring back your old wood to the recycling station. So that is already in place. It's a challenge, of course, in countries which are less developed, mostly in Eastern Europe. We are working on this. also looking forward to the new technology, which will be an enabler for this kind of collection.
Thank you, Jan Olaf. So in order to enable this, well, we've heard we need clean fractions. And I have a question for you, Murat. To what percentage or to which amount can MDF or HDF be separated from an 200 kilograms input of HDF? Approximately.
Okay. Yeah, a very interesting question, but of course, here it depends on the details, of course. So we need to know which pre-treatment, in which grain sizes the materials are, and so it's very individual. But in our test center in Wilhelm-Kerlich in Germany, close to Koblenz, we are testing that, for example, and of course it depends on the pre-treatment, but hit rates over 80-90% can be achieved. But here again, it's just an indication. It depends really on the different pre-treatments and how the material is looking, how the MDF is looking, and yeah. But of course, I'm sorry, I cannot say the right number now because it's very individual.
If we get a specific number, or they can reach out to us, and I'm sure we can clarify this. Speaking of MDF, which is still challenging in recycling, I have a question for you, Jose. What is your vision about the recycling possibilities of fruit packaging, especially in MDF?
Interesting question, Michelle. Okay, MDF, as we've seen, is the future of recycling, especially in wood. We have a lot of experience in different mix streams. MDF is the future, and as I said, nowadays it's possible to short it, and nowadays it's even possible, thanks to some different processes, to recover the fibers from this used MDF. MDF packaging, fruit boxes, is nothing different from the MDF, and it's especially a good raw material, let's say, because it's a monofraction. That means we have not mixed the MDF with any other material, so it will be really easy to short it and really good for the production, or to recover the fibers for new productions.
Thank you. So when we sort, we also have composite materials in the stream. How can we overcome these challenges, or can our technology, well, they said your technology, detect wood with nails and staples in it? Maybe something for you, Murat.
Yeah. For example, at first it depends on which stage for that sorting process we are. But for example, wood chips with nails, it's a composite material in that case for me, and we can sort it out, of course, with an X-ray sorter, for example. It's functioned very well. Films with an X-ray sorter, or not films, plastics at all, we can sort out a part of that, a part which has some additives, because this is a sorter by density, and PVC, for example, we can sort it out with an X-ray sorter. But other polymers, in that case, I would use an NER sorter. Here, this is the right solution. And also about that question, it depends on the individual requirements of the customer and the content of the material and so on.
Okay, for you, Jan Olaf. So first of all, thanks for your presentation. How are the quantities mentioned for reuse and recycling split over the various countries, just roughly?
Yes, countries that can be all over the world. We have, of course, the particleboard recycling country as such, that is Italy. And I think there we have 4 million cubic meters of particleboard being produced. All of it is recycled. They have this recycling share of 100%. That's great. And then EU in general, I think, is on a 36-37% level at the moment. And we have the Iberian, we have the, Spain and Portugal leading there as well, with quite high numbers. Germany often has 60-65%, what we see from our sub-suppliers. And when we go towards the east, then it becomes less. So there we might be at a 5 or 10% level at the moment. So this is the countries where we need to work on. And of course, the classical numbers for the particle board industry, these 50 million cubic meters which are produced, this is of course the goal.
Sounds good. I think there's room for improvement, and we're all going to work on this. Speaking of collection, Murat, where do we collect mixed wood, like common landfill, or what happens with chairs with textile parts? That's more also C&D waste.
Yeah, that topic is about collection, and it's depending on the region, on the location. Let me say, because different nations have different laws, regulations about that. For example, in Germany, a share would be probably come in a bulky waste stream. Bulky waste stream in that case is for me the border between mixed waste and mono wood fraction. So we will need a pre-treatment like a mixed waste. But here, of course, this is a topic more for the collectors and the recyclers. For sure, for a model like what we have presented today, we need a collaboration, a partnership with all the participants of that process, of that chain. Let me say, it begins from collection, goes to sorting companies, and then to the panel production companies, and of course also to the furniture stores and furniture companies. And here we have to work out a better concept at first to maximize the mono wood streams, and maybe one step before at the moment I think the highest potential to access to wood, to waste wood, is more in the mixed waste streams. And here it depends on the recyclers who have the challenge to sort it out, to have the aim to generate a mono wood stream, what we can clean then.
Thank you, Murat. You want to take another one? Now that you're speaking.
Of course. Why not?
Are you able to separate different qualities or types of wood with X-ray technology?
Let me say, the X-ray technology here is not the right solution. The X-ray technology is the best solution what I know for cleaning material which has a high purity of wood, where the last percentage of impurities like stones, metals are inside. For that application, the X-ray machine is really fine, and for me excellent, of course. To sort in different qualities, when you mean with quality in that wood types, for that we have developed that deep learning software. And for that solution, this will come, of course, after X-ray cleaning. The deep learning solution will be the right one.
Thank you. I need a second to translate this and formulate this question easier. Well, I start with another one. So you can also recover MDF from grade B wood with NIR technology and, well, the deep learning technology. Also, I think that's for you.
Yeah, nowadays, as my colleague Murat was explaining, we have developed deep learning technology, which is a part of the artificial intelligence. And this is the technology that we use in order to recover MDF or to distinguish between different wood types. With the NIR, you can achieve some results, but the performance will not reach the possibilities that the deep learning can reach. We can use NIR to do some kind of would be sorting, again with not the highest performance as we will reach with the deep learning, but the MDF, and especially if we want to short MDF in order to recover the fibers, so to use the MDF again for our production, we'll definitely need the deep learning because we can reach higher purity levels that any other technology is capable today.
Okay, and what if the MDF material is coated? Does this still pose a challenge, or can we also sort this?
Yeah, with the deep learning technology, we can recognize even coated or painted materials, so it will not be a challenge. We will be able to identify it and to sort it. So we have different possibilities to recognize different or good types of coated materials is one of them. It will not be a challenge.
Thank you. One last question, because there's just adding questions, so it's kind of endless. But given the time, I give the last question to you, Jan Olaf. The question is, can these sorting and reuse mechanisms only be used for some furniture from IKEA, or will it be used for all furniture in the production line that consists mainly of wood?
Well, the sorting technology that is used in the incoming part of a board line or at a recycling station, and of course the goal is to have an as broad specification as possible for the incoming material. So if I understand the question right, the goal is to be as broad as possible, to be able to take as much furniture or as much waste wood in as possible, and then sort it to clean fractions. There won't be a 100%, but if we can as close as possible to this one, this would be of course great.
Thank you very much. So as I said, there's still a couple of questions left. We're going to answer these in written form and provide them later on. And thank you very much for first all the presenters that are here and took their time, and those who joined the webcast. So we hope you really enjoyed the experience, and please don't forget the survey at the end of the session. This being said, I'm closing the session now, and yeah, see you soon. Ciao.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity.